Good evening and welcome to the show. I'm Tom Waters, your host, and we have an outstanding show for you this evening. We have information that I'm going to, as I do every show, tell you to get something to write with and something to write on, because you're going to be taking a lot of notes, because you're going to want to follow up on a lot of the information that we're going to be providing this evening. First of all, I want to introduce our guest. Our first guest is Edward Schrock. He's from the Secretary of State's office, and he's the Chief Compliant Audit Investigator. So why am I having him on the show this evening? Well, so many of you have been confronted by scams from wherever they're coming from. This is the expert that we brought in to tell you all about the scams for the elderly. Don't get caught up in those scams. That's what he's going to be talking to you about this evening. But first thing I'd like to do, Ed, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tom Waters. Appreciate being here.
We're glad to have you, and I know the audience is looking forward to everything you've got to say. So the first thing is, tell us what you do, and we've already said Secretary of State, but give us a little bit more about that.
Okay, work for the Securities Division under the Secretary of State. And the Security Division oversees investment advisors and broker-dealers, and we also take in complaints.
Okay.
There's actually 3 departments under the Securities Division. It's the civil team, which is my team. We have a criminal team, which we have officers that can go out and make arrests. And then we have a registration. So anyone in the state of Nevada who's a broker-dealer or an investment advisor needs to be registered with the state, and we basically oversee them, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay. And how often are you going out doing the investigations?
My investigators, we do it on a rotation.
Okay.
If you're a new investment advisor, broker-dealer, and you're state registered, we'll do after you first come registered in a year, and then we sort of go in a cycle of every 3 years, unless we receive a complaint, which we do have that also. So if you're getting scammed or you feel there's an issue or concern, you can fill out a complaint, and depending on if we feel it's civil or criminal, it'll either go to my team or it'll go to the criminal team.
Okay. Well, we're right on track for everything that you're going to be talking about this evening. What, if you had to put them in a sequence of 1, 2, 3, and 4, before we get into the scams, or you want to get into the scams right away, what would be your next step of what you want to talk about?
Oh, well, we can, there's so many scams, and I know we're limited on time. So I just want the public to be aware of some that are really hitting, and it seems like no matter how much we talk about them, they fall for them. One of them is called, not a name I made up, it's pig butchering. I'm sure most of you guys all have a cell phone, or you're on Facebook or something like that, and you receive those messages in regards to, hey, this is Tom, do you remember me? Or, did we go to school together?
Okay.
And basically what they're trying to do is get you to communicate with them, get in touch with them, answer that phone. Please, don't even say, sorry, you have the wrong number. Hey, I don't know who you are. Or any of that stuff, because what they're doing is trying to get contact with a human voice, okay? And then they'll start working you, okay? They'll either start trying to become your best friend or give you some advice. And especially the elder, they like to, sometimes they're lonely, sometimes they just want to talk. Hey, it's a nice person.
Oh.
The elderly are very trustworthy, and they'll start communication. And then sooner or later, it'll get deeper and deeper. Hey, can I borrow some money? Hey, we have an investment advice for you. And no matter how many times you talk about it, people just, social media is awesome, but it's also very deadly.
But what you were saying, if somebody calls you on the phone that you don't know, what's the best thing to do?
Just ignore it, delete it. Just don't respond to it. You can block it. You can go on your phone and block it, depending on what kind of phone. These are text messages, okay. Yeah. If they leave a voice message, don't respond. I mean, because a lot of elderly, well, I called them back and I said, sorry, you got the wrong number. Or I texted them back, hey, please don't bother me. That's all they want. They want to know that there's a human on the other end.
Ah, okay.
And what we see is once they become your friend, they try to talk you into stuff. Investments, or hey, become your friend. I mean, we've all heard of the Ponzi schemes. Bernie Madoff made that pretty popular.
Yes, he did.
And got a lot of money. And people forget the Ponzi schemes are going on constantly. And the biggest thing with the Ponzi schemes we see is the affinity fraud. Okay, so
What is that?
like myself,
Okay.
I've come to a couple meetings here in Pahrump. I've done a couple presentations. I've done, say I come here every week and I start becoming friendly. I start talking to everyone. I join certain groups here in town, maybe a religious group, maybe a church group, a social group. And I constantly help. I bring donuts, I help clean up. And it's like, wow, Ed is very friendly. Ed is very nice. He's trustworthy. I'm constantly sitting down with individuals, and I may just answer the phone once and say, oh, that's great. Hey, I'm glad that you made that money for me, or, anything like that. And probably in a group of 5 people, if we're just sitting down, someone might say, oh, what was that? And I might go, oh, hey, my investment advisor called me and just made me $10,000. Oh, really? Who's your investment advisor? Okay. So then they start talking, or I'll just have a conversation. I might hear you saying, struggling a little bit with money, and say, hey, I have someone who can help you. And with the affinity fraud is everyone knows Ed now, and they're like, wow, Ed's so friendly, Ed's so helpful.
Okay.
We trust Ed, and that's what we see. I mean, we had a church, okay, individual joined, did everything, helped cleaned up, helped with the bake sales, helped with picnics, and then probably about, a couple $1 million later,
Wow.
those individuals from the church, invested with his friend, his deep, close friend, family member, and lost everything.
Oh, gee.
So, moral of that story is, please don't trust everyone, okay? Be careful. Do your homework. I mean, research it. Why are they trying to push something on you? Are they really your best friend? Okay, or are they just trying to scam you? And that's what a lot of individuals say. Well, Ed was great. He was always there. He was always friendly. He was always helping us out. So we trusted him. We felt that he would give us good advice. Okay, we thought that he would not, steal our money or do fraud on us. But then, in the long run, Ed took the money.
If it looks too good to be true.
Yeah, I wish a lot of people would look at that. I mean, there's no guarantees. There's no, hey, your money is guaranteed. Okay, I'll make you high returns. You won't lose a cent. You guys, nothing is guaranteed in regards to, any of those funds.
Wow. I think about some of the seniors that we have in our community, and those that, again, very appreciative of friendship. And like Ed was just saying, you have somebody that they think they can trust, and yet they're going to put all of their finances in this individual. And like he said, you've got to do your homework. You've got to know what you're investing in. You've got to know who you're talking to. And those things are very important. So that's why we brought Ed out, to make sure you don't get scammed by something like this. Because this is just, he's just talking about the surface scams. These are the ones that you could probably recognize and say, I'll never get caught in something like that. But then you'll be caught in one of the other ones. And he's got several that he can talk about. And those are the things that we want to cover this evening.
Yeah, another one related to that is, it's called the pump and dump. Again, they reach out social media. I mean, again, social media is great, but you must be careful. This individual went on social media. He saw some investment information. He saw some stock information. They sent him a WhatsApp. He clicked on the WhatsApp and went to the group. He listened for a while to the group and, thought maybe it's a scam or something fraud. But you got to understand, the people in this group talking as he's listening, they have scripts to make it sound awesome. So he decided, okay, this is good. Plus, they also used a individual who works for a prominent, financial services company, and they're the chief financial officer, and they use their name. He said, okay, I'm going to do this. He took $150,000, okay, invested in this stock, and the stock kept on going up, okay? And he then told his wife, you know, honey, you should invest $100,000 also. Look, I've already made so much in this stock. And yes, it was making money, but it's a pump and dump, okay? So they're talking about this stock on the social media group and saying, hey, invest, invest, invest. It's awesome. You're not going to lose any money, and people are investing. Once it gets to a certain point, the fraudsters take out all their money, and you're left with pennies to the dollar. And these, you know, it's not like you can go out and call law enforcement and say, hey, go get my money. Or we get the complaint, you know, at our office. Yes, we investigate it. We investigate what we can shut down, okay, if we can take action against them. Whatever we can do, but a lot of times, I mean, they do a self-directed fund. He listened to this WhatsApp group,
Yep.
and he thought it was a prominent person from a big financial company given this advice. He lost $150,000. His wife lost $100,000, and I'm sure she's really happy about that.
Oh, wow. And we have this situation that goes on and on and on. Now, during this session, we wanted to give you some idea of exactly what Ed is talking about. I know we're going to be going into our next session, and we're going to be going into more specifics. So again, if you have any questions, we want you to take Ed's information, get in touch with him, get in touch with his office, and let him know, look, this is something that I saw. Maybe it's something new that they haven't seen yet, but I doubt it because I think they've seen it all. So yeah. At this point, I just want you to be aware of what's going on. Watch out for those scams. Don't get taken. We want to make sure that you're safe, save your money, and just be taken care of. Now, we're going to come back in the next session and tell you a whole lot more about scams against the elderly. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. I still have Edward Schrock from the Secretary of State's office, and we're talking about scams against the elderly and so many other things. Now, at the first session, Ed gave you a lot of information, and definitely want you to write that down and contact him at the website or the phone number, the information that we provided for you on the screen. After that, there's so many other things we want to make sure that we cover in this session. And before we run out of time, Ed, there's so much more. So how about just jumping right into it and tell our audience exactly what's going on with scams and just all the things that your office looks into?
Yes, Tom. I also did want to mention, and not give false hope to individuals, when you file a complaint with our department, we do try to, look into it. We try to take care of what needs to be taken care of, if action needs to be taken. But I just want the public to know that we cannot guarantee your funds, okay? We try to get the money back. We work with law enforcement or whatever parties we need to, but the Secretary of State's Securities Division cannot guarantee you that we will get your money back.
So okay. The main thing is don't get caught up in these scams.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, it's awesome if we get your money back, but
can't guarantee it.
So I want to make that clear. But just to continue a little bit what we were talking about, the pump and dump, when I mentioned the individual that went on this social media site, you guys, today's world with AI, okay, artificial intelligence, they can imitate everyone. I mean, you can probably see me later on if AI wanted to, talking about a stock and saying how great it is. They can imitate my voice. They can imitate my, photo, my actions as in talking. But like I said, the individual that invested $150,000, he thought it was a prominent person at a financial service company that was given this advice, and that's why he invested the $150,000. And just for the pump and dump, what it means is they pumped it up. The stock got pumped up to a high dollar amount with everyone investing. The crooks took the money, and it was a dump. So I just want to make it clear on that. Another thing I just want to cover that we see a lot of is commodities, gold and silver.
Okay.
And I am not saying that, gold and silver is a good investment or a bad investment, okay? All I want to mention is the things that we see in regards to issues or concerns, okay? You need to do your own homework to see if this company is legitimate, that you may be investing with gold or silver, or how much you're spending. But recently, complaints we've received is a gentleman, and I'll just say he took $100,000 out of his retirement fund, okay, and he thought, oh, I'm going to buy gold. I mean, he did his homework, he looked at it. The company was legitimate, okay, but what you have to do is, again, do your homework. He bought the gold, and I'll just simple numbers, 100,000. The day that he purchased it, then he saw his statement online. It was only worth $80,000, okay, and he was upset. What he did not read in the contract is when they're selling you this gold, there's a markup, there's a commission. The salesperson gets the commission. He even signed it, and right under his signature, it stated that there is a 20% commission on this sale. So yeah, you buy $100,000, that 20% is taken out the minute you buy it. So now you only have $80,000. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
And so you gotta make sure you're aware of what the cost is on that. And we receive a couple of those complaints, in regards to, well, my gold's not worth as much as they told me. No, that's what you purchased for. Okay, that's the price you purchased it for and the commission that you paid for that salesperson. So make sure you read your contract and fully understand what's going on.
Read the fine print.
Correct. And this wasn't even fine print. It was pretty clear.
Oh, yes.
That the percentage, but he's excited to buy his gold. And research the company. It's the little things, okay? A lot of these companies are spoofed in regards, and what I mean by that is they make it look like they're a legitimate gold company. I had a person in Beatty, okay? I was doing a presentation. Afterwards, he came up to me and said, he was a retired military veteran, and he invested. He didn't have much money, but for him it was a lot of money. I mean, he invested $1,500 into gold. When he got the gold in a box to his P.O. box, he opened it up. It was washers, okay? Washers that you get at Walmart, the store, Home Depot, somewhere like that. So he was upset. He contacted everyone. Bottom line is, the site that he went to made it look like it was an authentic gold selling company, and he thought he was buying from them. Okay, he didn't do much homework. He didn't really look into it. He didn't do the research, but now he lost that money, and he was upset and wanted to know, what do I do? And again, that mentions what you said earlier. Do your homework.
Absolutely.
Read it. Read the fine print. Look it up. Look for misspelled words, because sometimes when they spoof this, they're taking a website that is legitimate, trying to make it look legitimate, but they have to change certain things in it. Okay? And be aware of what you're doing. Cryptocurrency is the same. I mean, I'm not saying cryptocurrency is good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you need to be careful and do your homework. A lot of people are like, okay, today's economy, I'm going to buy cryptocurrency. That is great. I mean, a lot of people have made a lot of money. A lot of people have lost a lot of money. You need to look at who's offering the cryptocurrency. Yep. Okay, you need to look at what their history is. Did they just start the company last week? Two guys, out in some shack saying, hey, I'm going to start selling cryptocurrency. Or is it a legitimate company? Because there's a lot of legitimate companies out there, and there's a lot of bad ones. And we see people invest, and then they file a complaint with us saying, hey, I can't contact the individuals anymore. I want to know how I get my money back. And sadly, once you send the cryptocurrency, okay, you can't recall it. I mean, it's gone. So just be careful of what you're investing in. Take a look at it and verify it.
I like the fact that you mentioned there are some honest brokers out there, and that's what Ed is saying. You need to do your homework and get the right people, because when you find the honest brokers, there are just as many bad brokers.
Yes. I mean, and please, again, do not say that Ed's saying that everyone's bad. No. As Tom said, there's good, there's bad. We also have on our website, if you go to the Secretary of State website, and up top it says securities. You click on that, and then you scroll down. You'll see where you can file a complaint with the Secretary of State's office. You can either do it electronically, or you can print out a PDF, okay, and mail it in. We also have broker check. Okay, so you can go on the site and you can research the investment advisor, broker dealer for the state. Okay, it'll sort of like a resume. Are they, what have they done? What's their history? Have they have any complaints? Biggest thing is, are they registered in the state? We do run into that. Well, Dr. Tom Waters, my investment advisor, took my money. Well, there is no Dr. Tom Waters in the state of Nevada. Okay, so even if you have a investment advisor, broker dealer, financial, planner, just go on the site and see, are they registered in the state? I mean, they must be registered to do business in the state of Nevada if their location is in the state of Nevada. And that's a free service. And we do have a lot of individuals that just look that up.
Do you go by their name or their office name or what?
It makes it very easy. You can go by the name, you can enter Pahrump, and it'll list everyone that's listed in Pahrump.
Okay.
You can go by the firm name. So it gives you options. Okay, so if you want to put Las Vegas, the list will be huge. If you can't narrow it down, Pahrump will be a little smaller, Beatty, Reno and stuff like that. Or you can put Tom Waters, or if your firm name is Waters Financial Planning, you can put that in there. So they try to, we make it easy, so you can at least find the individual that you're looking for. So we've mentioned a couple of frauds. I mean, there's so many, and then there's still the old ones that we see. The lottery scam. You guys, please. I mean, don't think you won the Canadian lottery, Jamaican lottery, Nigerian lottery. My first question is always, well, oh wow, you were in Jamaica? No, how did you win the lottery? Okay, or the prepaid fees. Las Vegas is a radio station I listen to in town in Las Vegas, and I love it that they have an ad that basically says, we will never call you, okay, to tell you that you won a prize and that you have to pay the taxes or, the fee. Because individuals are being scammed and saying, hi, this is so-and-so radio station, you won this, yep. And you just need to pay the taxes on this. Do you have a credit card or a debit card number? And people are like, oh, wow, I won? Okay, yeah. Here's my number. I'll pay the taxes on something that's maybe worth, they think it's worth $3,000, $4,000. So you guys, please don't. I mean, you do not have to pay the taxes. You do not have to pay the fees. And again, do you even listen to that radio station? I mean, we have those.
That's a red flag right there.
I know. I mean, same as the lottery. Oh, you were in Canada? No. How did you get a lottery ticket? Well, they called and said I won. You, of all the people in the whole United States. So you guys, just sometimes, and I remember one gentleman, he lost a substantial amount of money. And when I was having the conversation with him, he said, Ed, I thought it was a scam, but I just wanted it to be true. I needed the money, and I just wanted it to be true. And he invested, and I'm sure you know what the outcome was, because he was talking to me. So you guys, again, please be careful. Talk to your friends. I mean, if you're looking at investing something, or if you get a phone call, or if you see an individual, that's all of a sudden Boulder City in town. Two individuals came to me after a meeting and said, did you see the person in the cowboy hat? I'm like, yeah, he sat up front. He was being ripped off by family. Every time he was getting a Social Security check, pension check, they were begging him for it. He started begging other people for money. So, if you see something like that, report it.
Okay. And that's what we have for you today. We want you to be aware of all the scams that are out there, all the ways that people are going to try and take all of your money. And that's why we have Ed on this evening. And Ed, I want to thank you for coming out, sharing that information with all of our listeners.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tom Waters. I appreciate it. Love doing these presentations.
Thank you. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. Of course, I have a new outstanding guest. This is Susan Sorrells. And I call her the mayor of Shoshone. And people say, Shoshone, that's in California. Yes, it is. But there's such a wonderful connection we have with Shoshone. And we have that wonderful connection with Susan. So I invited her to come back and tell you all about Shoshone. I still call her the mayor of Shoshone. She's going to tell you her real position there. And I'm just so excited always to have you here on the show. Susan, thanks for coming back.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Okay.
I think it's funny that Tom will say a new guest because I've been on this show before with
Yes.
Tom, and I always enjoy it. And then also, I'm fourth generation in Shoshone. And when I was young, Pahrump was a agricultural community, and there were like maybe 400 people. We used to ride our horses from Shoshone to Pahrump. So anyone that says I'm new to Pahrump or even to the show, it's like, well, not really. But I'm always happy to be here, and I love Shoshone is my heart, but I also really love Pahrump. It's such a diverse, fun community.
You know, there's some people that just don't know that back in the day, and I'll say it that way, long before I came, that's when the high school was in Shoshone, and that's where everybody in Pahrump went to school. So the communities are really connected together, and that's what Susan is trying to say. The connection is real. I mean, it's not something you just made up. It is real, and the families are connected. So
Very much so. And services are also connected. At one point, there were no doctors in Pahrump, and then Dr. Cecil came. But we also started a community clinic in Pahrump because, and a lot of people from Pahrump came as well. So we're connected socially, culturally, and also as far as services go. And now that Pahrump is pushing up against 50,000 people, and Shoshone and Dakota have about maybe 500, Shoshone has about 40, we're really becoming a place where a lot of people who live in Pahrump recreate. And also when we have different drives to protect the land and to create new services like hiking trails, or we also have like geological hikes and different things. We're very much supported by Pahrump. So we're becoming a place where people from Pahrump recreate, and Pahrump is a place where we buy organic vegetables and also recreate, but also so many of our services now are in Pahrump, which is nice. So we're very much intertwined.
you know, there are a lot of people in Pahrump, and as well as Las Vegas, and the only thing they know about Shoshone is the lottery system. That's why they go over. But there is so much more to Shoshone than the lottery. So, and that's why we have Susan here today, so that you will know all the things that Shoshone has to offer. If you want to go there for recreation or just to see what they have, I mean, historic values is there.
Well, my husband and I own Shoshone. My husband is Robbie Haynes, which a lot of people in Pahrump know. When we first got married, people would say to Robbie, "Oh, you're Susan's wife." Now, when I come to Pahrump, they say, or, "Oh, you're Susan's husband." Now, when I come to Pahrump, they say, "Oh, you're Robbie's wife." So he's quite well known in Pahrump, and we've been married for 40 years. It's hard to believe, but we've really focused on developing Shoshone, but developing Shoshone in a very natural way, so that what we do is integrated with nature and also community. So in Shoshone, we have walking paths, we have the museum there gives talks about the area. We we integrate the town, which there's only 50 people in the town or thereabouts, with nature. So now we're starting a native nursery. So most of our planting is endemic plants.
Susan, can you go back and talk about the museum very quickly? I know we want to cover all these other areas as well, but tell us about the museum.
It's such a great asset. And again, we have so many people from Pahrump that support the museum. But the museum is a nonprofit. It's a 501c3, and its purpose is to interpret the history of Shoshone, Dakota, the greater China Ranch, the greater Amargosa, but also Death Valley. And we have, believe it or not, we have about 8,000 specimens. It was founded by Brian Brown, my cousin that owns China Ranch. And when we first came home from college and adventures, exploring the world, we both were really concerned that a lot of the history was being destroyed, or like letters, important historical letters, mining claim notices, ledgers from businesses were being thrown in the dump when people would clean out a building. So we started the Shoshone Museum, and now it has a board of directors, and we have this tremendous archive that is used very, very often for folks that are doing research on Amargosa history. But it also, the museum is very interactive. It has, we have speaker nights, we have talks and walks. It's the people that work there, John Muccio, Tony, Eliza, Sam, who's the son of Robin Flincham, who's well loved in Pahrump. I hope I haven't met Mary King, who's really been an anchor for the museum. They love to talk about the history. We also, especially in the summer, the museum gives direction and safety information to our tourists, which in the summer we get probably 50% of our tourists are foreigners. So it really serves a function, and it's not a part of our business, which is Shoshone Village, that runs the RV park, the inn, the crowbar, the lotto machine, and other things. Now we're starting a native nursery, but it really adds not only to the town of Shoshone, but to the Shoshone Dakota community, and also it interprets the history of Pahrump. So we have three other nonprofits in Shoshone. We have Friends of the Amargosa Basin. I'm the president of that, and we're looking at land status changes that will protect that will keep the Amargosa intact and protect the water. And then also the Amargosa Conservancy is a part of, is based in Shoshone. And then we have the Shoshone Education and Research Center, which is a field campus for geology groups. And we have about 30 geology groups that study from different universities across the United States and even in Canada. So the crowbar is sort of a melting pot. All of these interesting people meet at the crowbar, and there's just so many interesting conversations. And one really wonderful thing about the lotto is that people come over for the lotto, but then they discover the museum and the crowbar and our walking trails. And then also Dakota has some fabulous businesses like the brewery and Steaks and Beer, and almost everyone already knows about China Ranch and what a spectacular oasis it is. So it's a great day trip, just to come and buy your lottery tickets, but then come on over and explore.
Now everybody knows why I wanted you to stop and talk about the museum, because there is so much more to Shoshone than just going over buying a lottery ticket. There is so much more. Now, I said earlier that Susan was the mayor of Shoshone. Susan is actually the owner and manager of Shoshone. And there's a big difference there. I like to call her the mayor because whenever I need anything about Shoshone, I contact Susan. And as you can tell, she's a wealth of knowledge, not only about Shoshone, but the entire area, including Pahrump. So when you want to know something about the history of this area, Susan is the person to go to. So, or just come to Shoshone and go to the museum and go to the cafeteria.
Crowbar.
The Crowbar.
The Crowbar.
And you're going to learn so much more, and just talk to the people there. They're wonderful people. Some of the names that she mentioned, these are people that we know in Pahrump as well, because the communities are so well connected. I think it's just fantastic, and I really appreciate her being here today just to tell you about Shoshone, all of the benefits of knowing so much more about the history and just the growth and the way you're protecting the environment, just everything about Shoshone. And that impacts all of us.
Well, and I would like to say, Tom and I, the first time we met, which I think was at I gave a Rotary presentation to the Rotary Club.
Yes.
We became great friends. He and his wife came over and I gave him a tour. So Tom and I have a connection, but I think part of the charm of the Amargosa and Death Valley Junction, Shoshone, Dacopa, China Ranch is Tom thinks I'm this great source of information, but that's because he and I have spent a lot of time together. But everyone, the staff at the museum is an amazing source of information. Robin Flincham is a published historian.
And we're going to talk about that in the next session. So come back and join us.
Okay.
Welcome back for our final session. I still have Susan Sorrells with me. She is the mayor of Shoshone. She's really the owner and manager of Shoshone Village in California, which is right outside of Pahrump. And it's such a joy not only to know her, but to know so much about Shoshone. So once again, we're inviting all of you to come. Spend the day if you want, and come out and see everything that Shoshone has to offer. There is so much there. Now, Susan's going to tell you a whole lot more because there's a lot more to talk about.
There he is. And also it gives me an opportunity to clarify and expand on some of the things that Tom has said.
Okay.
When we closed the last session, he was saying that I'm very knowledgeable about the history, and I am because I grew up in Shoshone and I love it, and I did get a master's in history. It happened to be African history, but the discipline's the same. But one of the things that's so fun and special about the Amargosa is we have so many knowledgeable people. For an example, the staff at the museum, and in Dacopa, I was mentioning that Robin Flincham is just a wealth of information, and of course Brian Brown at China Ranch, and Dan at the brewery. And there's just, I can't even mention them all because, there's not enough time. But so it truly is a wealth of information. We just, the manager of our RV park is a young man. His name is Mike Pardue. He was born in Dacopa, and he went away for, I think, 30-something years, and now he's back. But he, again, has just such a wealth of information. And myself, I was was born in Glendale, but because that's where the hospital was. But I was brought up in Shoshone, and then I left for about 15 years, but it was always my heart and my base. And so there's something very special about the area, and there's folks, many other folks that know the area and love the area and can tell you about the area. And the other thing, my husband, Robbie Haynes, is just so talented and knowledgeable, and we have so much fun together. So I feel blessed that I have a husband that is not only a great partner, but also we are a great team in business. And also I'd like to give a shout out to our employees. Many of them have worked with us and for us for 10, 12, 14 years. They're amazing. So first of all, I am not a bureaucratic person. I'm more of a researcher and an artist. Being called mayor always takes me aback because it's like, that's not who I am. But I do work with.
She's elected by me to be mayor of Shoshone.
I am so privileged to work with an amazing team of folks at Shoshone Village, which is our business, but also in the community writ large. I'm also president of Friends of the Amargosa Basin, which is, again, protecting the land and nature, and also has great events like October 25th, we're having a geology tour by a professor, PhD from University of Washington, that will take us back in time to the first living creatures on the earth. And then a person that lives in Pahrump, a great friend, Teresa Sky, will be giving a nature journaling course. Probably will be taking a walk to our wetlands in Shoshone Springs, which is free hiking paths for the community. I'm not really sure of that date, but Friends of the Amargosa Basin not only is working hard to protect the region and also work with the tribes to incorporate native knowledge in protecting the land, but also with the community. And so we're working hard at that, but we also have these fun events that everyone joins in on, and some of our participants are from Pahrump and the surrounding area. So come visit, become a friend. You can go to the website, friendsoftheamargosabasin.org, and become a friend. It doesn't cost anything, and you can learn about what's happening in our area. And then the same with the Shoshone Village website in Shoshone. And again, I want to get this in here because it's so exciting. One of the things my husband and I have been doing over the summer is to remodel our Shoshone pool that was built in 1925.
Wow.
It is 100 years old.
Wow. Okay.
And so we're remodeling it, and it will be a part, an amenity of the RV park in Shoshone, which we are also remodeling, and the Shoshone Inn. And it's going to be beautiful. It's still a flow through. It's geothermal water, and we'll also expand to have 2 hot tubs. So it's really a natural hot springs. So lots going on at Shoshone. So if you just jump on those websites, you can figure out what's going on and then join us.
You know, Susan, you've mentioned so much, and I know people are writing all this down and trying to absorb it all. But there are some places in Shoshone that it's only in Shoshone and no place else on the planet.
That's correct.
Can you just talk about a couple of those things?
Yes. Well, Shoshone is a ancient spring system, and I grew up there and I love it. And when I came home and started managing it with my husband, the first thing, even though we were struggling from a business point of view, we started clearing the lands, and one of the areas that we really concentrated on is the spring area around next to the pool, which has native willow trees. It's a wonderful birding site. But as we started cleaning out the waterways, we discovered this fish, which is a Shoshone pupfish. It's a subspecies, just like the Devil's Hole pupfish is. It had been declared extinct, like in the 1950s. So it was huge, and we called in specialists. We worked with the California Department of Wildlife, the Endangered Species Department, and we seined out like 40 fish. And this was huge news because they were not only just found in Shoshone, they had been declared extinct. So we were very careful with these fish. I hope that I was very convincing, and apparently I was, because I convinced the botanists and the state to let us keep most of those fish and restore a damaged native habitat. And the other thing that I was very adamant about, because I was very much connected to the Pahrump community and the Shoshone community, is that this habitat would be open to the public. It was our private property, but that it be open to the public. So we created these ponds. We put the fish in there working with scientists and the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and now we have 8,000.
8,000.
8,000.
Wow.
They were never declared endangered. And now we still have this spring area that's open to the public that we've restored, and there's hiking paths. The public can see the pupfish. We have interpretive signs on why this area is so important, and we have a community watch program. We've never had an incident where anything has been destroyed. It's become loved by the communities, and it's also become a huge birding area. So even yesterday, I was up at the ponds working with U.S. Fish and Wildlife and volunteers and our staff, and there was the most beautiful great blue heron that was enjoying the ponds and the water, and probably a couple of pupfish. So it's just a magical place, and as I said, it's open to the public, and it's amazing that in Shoshone we have a species that was declared extinct that's found absolutely nowhere else in the world that's thriving. So we're very proud of that.
So come to Shoshone. Come to Shoshone to see all the things that Susan has already talked about. The fish, again, I wanted to mention that because there's no place else on this planet that you can see them except in Shoshone. And as she said, the people take such pride in it that they're taking care of it. They're not out destroying land or anything else. These well protected. I say the outstanding mayor that we have of Shoshone is taking good care of the area. Of the area, and just truly outstanding. And I'm so glad to have her on the program this evening, telling you all about Shoshone, all the things that they have, and why you should come over and visit.
Come visit. I'd love to see you. I know so many people in Pahrump. We're neighbors. I'd love to see you in Shoshone.
Susan, I just want to say thanks again for being here this evening, telling us all about Shoshone, all the value of coming out and learning more about it. So thanks again for being here.
And thanks, Tom. I love that you're my friend.
Yes, friends forever.
Yes.
Thank you.